your members or the people of your constituents are underrepresented. Virtually, the member of the parliament there is not saying anything. So how would you change the narratives?
Well, they saw it. They saw that I can, I am capable. I am capable in the sense that I've been working for them for 6 years in the schools, and they have shown that I have made a lot of improvements. You understand? In the educational system, in my constituency, in my school, Etiano Senior Secondary School. Do you understand? So I have brought, in fact, subjects like health science into that school. I introduced it since it was formed, and students, passing their exam every year. You see, a lot of developments that I have brought into the school, and parents put their eye to it. So me standing as a candidate will give them that, the hope, that the confidence. If I'm there, I work for them, I represent them.
One would query to say that before we could give Mr. Nying our vote, he has to, identify some of the achievements that he has achieved through his leadership styles, meaning that you must be tested in leadership responsibilities before they could give you, before they could entrust you with a parliamentary seat. So, in your own personal observation and also records, could you highlight some of the personal achievements that you brought in Fast Over Saho?
Well, I was a leader because still now I am holding the chairmanship of that football competition that is normally held every year at Fast Over Saho, where I normally, lead or coordinate more than 16 villages that will come to Fast, and everything will be, well done up to the final, and with peace. Do you understand? So there are a lot of leadership qualities that I achieve these days. In my school, I was also a head boy. Do you understand? In school, where I am presently, I am the head of sport.
Okay.
Normally taking my people to hit at Farfeni, from there leading the school to the stadium. A lot of things that I have been, leading in my constituency.
So, youth unemployment becomes an issue when the demographic studies, reveals that you have 65% of the population of this country are all young people, or above 65, 68 now. So I want you to tell us, the issue of youth employment in your area, and how do you intend to, deal with this, if there is any problem?
Well, that's also a good question to ask, because if you could see that Gambia, we have 68% of the population that are young people, youths. So normally in open youth, we have those difficulties. Youths are not employed, they don't have job. You understand? Most of them rely on farming. Yeah, and also the educational system, they are also give them problem. We have also people who youths that are normally dropouts, and at the end of the day, if you see those people in the street, you could feel something. So me, selected as a parliamentarian, I will therefore do my level best to see those people, to minimize dropouts. Do you understand? And also helping youths with jobs.
Another major problem that we have is the maternal mortality that pose a great threat to women, especially women at labor. It even made some women scared when they are when they are about to go into labor. Do you have any problem with this kind of situations within your district? And if there is a problem, how would you work with the rest of the stakeholders to improve this?
Before I come to that question, I just want to continue this on the last question you asked
Okay.
about youths.
Okay.
If you could see in all of we don't have skill centers.
Okay.
And that is very, very important to have a place where youths will come and not. You can see that not all of us are good at the school level. Do you understand? The educational system. Do you understand? So if you see other youths also are very talented, why not creating or proposing bills that will also help these people? Do you understand? To at least have a place where they can also learn on skills that will also give them job, create job for them. At the end of the day, after completing their skills, learning on those skill centers, they can open their own, private jobs, like carpentry, metal workers, etc., things like that. And that would be very, very, very important. But we never have a representative that works towards that, helping youths with, at least a place where they can learn some of these skills.
Yeah,
your question.
Yes, the other question. Yes.
Regarding health is very, very important. Whatever you are doing, if you don't have health, you cannot achieve it. Even us today sitting here, it's because of we are healthy, or we are at least feeling okay. Definitely, in our area, we have health centers, but at times also women feel a lot of difficulties in this. We don't have enough ambulance that will normally carry people during labor. At times you see people on this donkey cart and horse cart, where you will, sympathize them definitely. Yeah. So, to me, as a parliamentarian, it's your responsibility because you are between your localities, your people and the government. You should be at least fighting for them. Okay. Lobbying for them to have certain things that will also.
But are you have you put up those strategies, to lobby for some of these important projects that one may aspire to get? So what is the level of preparedness? Ahead of getting all these things that you're promising.
I can tell you that if I am there, I will do by all means, because I know my people. I know the difficulties that they are having. And then I propose, if I am there, I will also make some strategies by removing, let's say, 20% of what I am paid. Do you understand? Putting it into my people. Seeing places where I can put 20% of what I'm having, what I'm paid, so that I can be using those money to help them. If I promise my people that if selected, I will give them millions, that's not true. But I can lobby funds from people. Do you understand? And also take a little from what I am paid, to help them with certain things. That will also minimize the difficulties that they have.
Some would say that we wouldn't trust the parliamentary candidates or aspirants because they will sweet mouth us just to canvass for the vote, and when they get into that place, they tend to ignore all what have been promised. What would you tell us, or what will show to prove that you will live, you will definitely, project a unique characteristic from the rest of those that make such a promise that will never be fulfilled?
I am a victim to that. I have been disappointed by some of this limiting, and that warranted me to get into this as a young man. Do you understand? People have been standing before us talking about this. If if you vote for me, I will do this, I will do this, just to canvass votes. At the end of the day, they will just leave you. If people pass away, they will not come. If you have ceremony, you will not see them. You understand? Like gamos and etc. You understand? They will never come to you. They will in fact put their offices. You are there in Opanyo, let's say constituency. Your office should be in Opanyo, so that if people want to meet you, they will come there. But normally, what they do is they will just cross, come to Kumbo, leaving their own people. They will never go back to their own people. So those are the things that warranted us to be taking part. And if you look in history, I can tell you, in my own constituency, I am the youngest who ever take part into this. Then, with that, I can bring changes.
So, what will be your first project in your first 100 days in office? Because I can see the great crowd that accompanies you wherever you go. And then you are very optimistic that the victory is closer to you. But then, what will you do in your first 100 days when you are in that office for the people of your district?
Yeah, as of now, we are gathering a lot of difficulties because during our campaign we have a man that is responsible for writing all the difficulties that people are complaining about. So among those, we will make check and balance. We will see what project we will at least start with, because we propose a lot of things but we must start with something. But as of now, we are not yet to those plans. Yeah, we have been writing, getting information, a lot of information, but we will do it bit by bit. We will check the best among those who are suffering there, and we will put them into consideration first.
So you have previously you have highlighted some of the difficulties that the people in your district continue to face. One key among them is lack of representation. But could you be specific and tell us more if there is any that is more severe than misrepresentation?
Can you come back?
Okay, what I mean is the people in your area, you've mentioned that you have problems.
Yes.
One of the problems is the one that you have, your incumbent, is not representing you people well in the parliament. So I mean that from your assessment, what do you think is another major problems that your people have, that is not yet addressed?
I can tell you nothing is addressed yet, because my people, are farmers. Most of my community there, many of them are farmers. You have little villages that are not, farming. So now, if you are in a constituency where majority are farmers, you should respect that farming system. When they have problem with their farming, when they have difficulties in getting their monies after selling their granules, as a representative, what should you do? You should go to them. You should visit villages. You should visit alcalos. You should visit youths. Ask them their difficulties, because you are the intermediary between them and the government. All of them cannot be there. So you are the sample that is chosen to represent them. As an example, you should go to them, collect information, but we learn that a single representative never come to them to ask about their problem. So if you don't go to your people, you will never know their problem. So me as a representative, if I am there, I'll make sure that I will be going to my people every now and then to see their problem. And I will also there to stand for their problem, because I am selected for that.
During the course of your campaign, the IEC must make it very clear to all of you that usage of hate speech is prohibited. You being projected as the leader or someone that is near to getting into the parliament, what word of advice are you giving to your followers in order to comply with, the standing usage of hate speech during the campaign period?
Yeah, you see, when you are doing your own campaign, we base our campaign on program and policy. We never insulted, and I also advise them that to continue that discipline that they show when people are talking about it. Number one is that is on our agendas that we, and it's part of citizen alliance agendas, is discipline. You have to show people that you are so disciplined, and if you are disciplined, people should look after you. People who follow you also should be also one. You should show them those criteria. You should be, we never make any direct attack to people, but we have been doing our politics campaign based on comparison, because people are suffering. We ask people to come. Do you understand? Wherever we go, after the chairman, speaking, we ask the villagers, the people speak. But normally they give speech that we gather and take information, collect information, and talk about and compare things with them.
Okay.
Do you understand? But we never make any direct attack to people
Okay.
who are there. No.
How would you rate your personal relationship with those that are considered to be your opponents in this race? Cordial, poor, because whatever you do, that's what your followers will look after. Then could you please dip into this?
We don't have any problem. They are just candidate. I am a candidate. We normally met on the streets and we hi one another, greet one another. We respect one another. And I personally respect them because all of them are my elders. All of them are my elders. And your elder, you should respect your elder.
Okay.
Yeah. But I want to show them that definitely we were not properly represented in office in the parliament. So choosing a young one like me, do you understand? I will continue the good job that I was doing in the parliament, where everyone in my constituency will see themselves, self-realization into this.
As a youthful person, how would you rate the participation of young people in this year's parliamentary race? Because when we look at the statistics, you realize that the young people are playing leadership roles or want to take ownership of the developmental approaches in this country. What is your view of youth participation in politics this time around?
I think it is not a law that youth should not venture into politics. Yeah, youth should take part. If we say that Gambia, youths constituted, let's say, 68% of the population. So if these young people who are supposed to be leaders tomorrow are not into politics, are not seeking for this position, who will lead them? Who will lead us tomorrow? We expect people, young people, to be our leaders tomorrow. Do you understand? So that's why, and the mislead that is happening by this old people. Do you understand? And normally, from here, we normally from here say that they normally be there for themselves, for their families, not for the people who put them there in general. So that's why I am definitely grateful seeing young people into this.
The draft constitution, in which the government invested massive amount of money in ensuring that it lived, suddenly it was a sponge due to a partisan interest. What is going to be your view to get into the parliament? Are you going to advocate the revival of the draft constitution, or you are of the view that the 1997 constitution should be retained?
whatever you see is in programs and policies, and you cannot just say that if I go, I will do this, and you don't know what is in that draft constitution. Whatever you are doing is unique. You are there to scrutinize. You understand? But what I can tell you that is anything that I know that will not bring any development, I will say no to it. You understand? Anything that I can also attest that this will bring development in this country, and in particular to my own constituency, I will go in for it because they are the one that will help me.
What will be your message? A message of encouragement, a message that promotes peaceful cohesion and unity amongst residents of your area. What would you throw out to those people in the best interest of peace?
For me, I'm a peaceful guy, and all those who are following me are also peaceful. Yeah, well, we are one nation. We live in one constituency, and then what I would advise is let them continue the hard work that they are on, and the discipline that we know them of, and we know that we first.
How optimistic? How optimistic you know victory is yours?
Because of the hard work that we went on campaign, and we saw that definitely people want to put us there, and I think you have been seeing some of my videos and photos that people have. Though I am optimistic and I am not relaxing, I will continue the hard work up to the last day in Samba. And by the grace of the Almighty, if you hear real improvement,
Alright, viewers, that marks the end of this show. This is one of the programs where we're going to engage the members of the public, especially those that are at the managing leadership responsibilities, to scrutinize their policies, their programs, and engage them on issues that we think are in line with the national interest. So this marks the end of the show. Until we come your way again, this is with me. My guest was Mr. Omar Saho, one of the Mr. Samba Nying from Fast Omar Saho, but trying to vie for the parliamentary seat of Upper Nyomi district. So until we come your way again, I was your host, Cham. Thank you.